Hello, YouTube. What is going on? It is your boy GCTV. Sorry, back with another video. We are here to talk about the 2005 horror film written and directed by Eli Roth. We have Hostel. So, really interesting movie here. We're going to get into the plot. This is a spoiler review. I'm telling you guys everything pretty much that happens in this movie. And then we are going to go over some reviews, kind of do my own thoughts on the thing. So, let's go. So this movie follows two college students, Paxton Rodriguez and Josh Brooks, who travel across Europe with their Icelandic friend Ali Eriksson. So, yeah. So in the Netherlands, they visit an Amsterdam nightclub, followed by a brothel, which is like a... I can't tell you... It's like a... It's like window shopping. You know how in Europe they have like window shopping? That's pretty much what a brothel is, like the actual place that happens at. Sorry, I got sidetracked. But unable to get back into their hostel because of a curfew, they accept the offer of a man named Alexei to stay at his apartment. Obviously, there's curfew rules all across the world. Some people have different, policies, whatnot, laws, blah blah blah. He convinces them that instead of going to Barcelona, which was their next stop, they should visit a hostel in Slovakia filled with beautiful women. Like, these are some of the most beautiful women in the world, he says. This is a very nice place. It's a pretty nice place too. I mean, it's not great, but yeah. So the three board a train to Slovakia, where they encounter a Dutch businessman who touches Josh's leg, and he acts like really weird. He has this weird vibe about him. He has these weird philosophies. Something's definitely off about this guy, and it's crazy because you still don't expect later on in the film for him to be involved in this weird cultish... I don't know. They haven't really explained that well, which at first when I was watching the movie, I was like, should this really be a franchise? But then I realized, nobody really knows what this cult group is doing, what their purpose is, and whatnot. So Josh yells at him, causing him to leave. Arriving in Slovakia, they find that their roommates in the hostel are two women, Natalia and Svetlana. So they have women as roommates. That would not slide in America at all. But here we are. The women invite them to a spa and later to a disco. So they're instantly attracted. So you kind of feel like something is wrong. Maybe there's different norms in this country, but then again, it feels like something is wrong here. These women should not just be attracted to these men the second they get in this room. This is a very sexual movie, by the way. If you don't like sexual shit, do not watch this movie. So Josh has a run-in with a gang of local criminal kids, and they play a decent role in this movie. The Dutch businessman intervenes to defend him. Here you go, have that, get the fuck out of here. Josh apologizes for his reaction on the train. I guess the guy's trying to help him for, kind of being a weirdo on the train, kind of making up for that. So Paxton and Josh have sex with Natalia and Svetlana, while Ali leaves with the desk girl, Vala. So they each have a little bit of fun. They're obviously having the time of their lives here in Slovakia, right? The next morning, Ali does not return, and it is very weird, obviously, because, maybe he could have had a bad night out. You can think that, but I don't know. Some things are definitely going on. The two are approached by a Japanese woman named Kana, who shows them a photo of Ali and her friend Yuki, who is also missing. So they went off together, apparently. Or at least that's what the picture sees. Elsewhere, Ali has been decapitated while Yuki is being tortured. So out of nowhere, we're just taken to this dark place. And I guess the pre-credits, or the pre... What do you call that? The prologue at the beginning? Or something at the beginning of the movie, right? They showed this guy hosing down this room full of blood and nasty shit, and assuming chunks. So you're assuming something sinister is going to happen in the movie, but all of a sudden we see Ali, he's been decapitated. So Josh is anxious to leave, but Paxton convinces him to stay one more night with Natalia and Svetlana. We can't just lead the girls on like that, whatever. So both women slip them in tranquilizers, which... It's a very subtle part of the film. You have to really pay attention to the film to catch this. So Josh faints on his bed. The ill Paxton ends up locked in the pantry because he kind of stumbles in there, falls down, and someone shuts the door behind him and he gets locked in there overnight. So So then Josh wakes up in a dungeon-like room where the Dutch businessman begins maiming him with a drill, making holes in Josh's body, slicing his Achilles tendons, and slitting his throat. It's fucking brutal. This is a pretty gory movie. I mean, obviously the practical effects, we're talking about a 2005 movie here. I mean, obviously the practical effects weren't perfect, but it was pretty nasty. There were definitely some grimacing, definitely some wincing moments in this movie, for sure. The Achilles tendon is just brutal because when you try to get up, you fucking fall because your tendons don't let you. Yeah, it's crazy. So Paxton, on the other hand, wakes up in the disco and returns to the hostel where he learns that he had supposedly checked out. Maybe the girls did that to, like, I don't know, lead him elsewhere. It's really weird, and you kind of have that feeling that these girls are a part of something very sinister going on. It's a really weird movie. I don't know. He's greeted by two women who invite him to the spa. So he checks back in and he finds two more women. So this hostel is probably being used in connection to this cult that like tortures people and kind of like slowly kills them. This is a terrible death, by the way. You're getting hit with a drill like in all places in your body. You're getting sliced up. Yada yada yada. So suspicious, he locates Natalia and Svetlana. Natalia takes Paxton to an old factory where he sees Josh's mutilated corpse being stitched together by the Dutch businessman, and he realizes what the fuck he's gotten himself into. These people like to torture people in Slovakia. You know, they have this really weird underground thing in this abandoned building, and yeah, they just torture people. They lure people there as part of a tourist attraction, and now you think, oh, well, Alexi's a part of it too. And it turns out all that's true. We'll kind of get to that in a little bit. It's really hard to explain this movie. I feel like you kind of have to watch a video or something to, like, because after I was done watching it, I was super confused. I feel like I need to watch, like, an explained video. Maybe I need to watch the sequel. I don't know. Maybe that's what they're trying to do, get people interested in the sequel by having kind of this mysterious group. So, two men drag Paxton down a hallway, passing by several rooms where other people are being tortured. Paxton is restrained and prepped to be tortured by a German client named Johann. So, while cutting off a few of Paxton's fingers with a chainsaw, Johann unintentionally severs his hand restraints. Kind of unprofessional, if you ask me. So, I guess these guys pay a fuck ton of money to come in here and torture someone and take anger out and not be criminally punished. It's really weird, dude. So Johann falls over, accidentally severing his leg with the chainsaw. This is like some Final Destination shit at this point. Like, some of these kills and some of these... Yeah, it's strange, man. So Paxton shoots Johann in the head with a gun. He then kills a guard, changes into business clothes, and finds a business card for the Elite Hunting Club, an organization that allows its clientele to pay to kill and mutilate tourists. So that's kind of what the group is, but it's a really weird, like, origin story that doesn't really get covered in this movie like that. Paxton also discovers Kana, whose face is being disfigured with a blowtorch by an American client. This guy's, like, blowtorching her fucking... One side of her face and her eyes, like, popping out. It's, like, melting. It's fucking nasty, dude. It really is pretty gross. Like, Paxton kills the man and rescues Kana, and they flee in a stolen car, pursued by guards. Paxton runs over Natalia, Svetlana, and Alexei, killing two of them, while the pursuing car finishes off the third. So, yeah, all three of those people die, and those are the people that pretty much set him up to go to this place, this torture chamber, you know? Let's see. He also encounters the delinquents from earlier and gives them a big pack of candy and gum to get the job done. They then attack and kill the men pursuing Paxton with concrete blocks. This is fucking brutal. Like, these kids will do anything for some candy. They'll do anything for money, cigarettes, anything, dude. Like, it's fucking crazy, dude. Like, they're literally bashing these people's heads in. It's wild. So the two make it to the train station. Kana, seeing her disfigured face, kills herself by leaping in front of an oncoming train, which attracts attention and allows Paxton to board another train unnoticed. I mean, obviously she didn't really do this as a sacrifice. She did this because she fucking hated her appearance and didn't want to live the rest of her life without a fucking eye. So, yeah, but obviously it helped Paxton in the end, unintentionally. So aboard, Paxton hears the voice of the Dutch businessman. So when the train stops in Vienna, Austria, Paxton follows the Dutch businessman into a public restroom and tortures him before slicing the businessman's throat, killing him to pretty much get back what happened to him in the torture chamber. So it has a pretty solid resolution. Obviously, people die, but the main character, you know, Paxton, It's interesting. So pretty solid ending. There's obviously there is an alternate movie on like or ending on the director's cut, but I'm not going to talk about that because that's not what I watched. So yeah, let's get into the review of this thing. So this movie, some regional controversy. We'll talk about it. It's an okay movie. I don't think it's that good. I think it's just okay. Featuring lots of guts and gore, Hostel is a wildly entertaining corpse-filled journey, assuming one is entertained by corpse, guts, and gore, that is. There's a lot of gore. I mean, not a lot of people like it. It's a pretty average movie, in my opinion. I don't know if it should have had a franchise. Maybe just like a prequel or something would have done it justice. I don't know. I feel like this should be a one-time occurrence. This some sort of. I mean, it's got creativity. I mean, the concept's pretty cool, actually. I mean, you may or may not believe that slavering redneck psychos of the kind who leer through Rob Zombie's The Devil Rejects can be found in the Southwest, but it's all too easy to envision this sort of depravity in the former Soviet bloc, the crack-up of which has produced a brutal marketplace of capitalistic fiendishness, which is kind of like what this movie represents, and I think that's really cool that there's some sort of symbolism going on. The torture scenes in Hostel, snipped toes, sliced ankles, pulled eyeballs are not in essence much different from the surgical terrors in the Saw films. Only Roth, by presenting his characters as victims of the same world of flesh for fantasy they were grooving on in the first place, digs deep into the nightmare of a society ruled by the prophet of illicit desire, like people just doing whatever the fuck they want if they pay for it. It's a really weird concept. It's a pretty good film. I mean, for 2006, it's probably one of the better of the time. It kind of shows an example of modern consumerism. I think it's really cool. I mean, Hotel was silly, crass, and queasy. Good or bad way, however you want to interpret it. I'm kind of neutral on this movie. Roth pretty much created the horror subgenre torture porn or gorno, using excessive violence to excite audiences like a sexual act. It is weird. It is controversial. But yeah, I mean, the Holocaust imagery behind Hostel's horror iconography, you can kind of connect Roth's film to the Nazi exploitation genre, good or bad way. Probably in a bad way. I don't know. There's a lot of things you can say about this. Slovak had a weird reaction to the setting as well. There was a lot of complaints from like the Czech Republic and whatnot. They were both disgusted and outraged by the film's portrayal of their countries as undeveloped, poor, and uncultured lands suffering from high criminality, war, and prostitution, fearing it would damage the good reputation of Slovakia and make foreigners feel it was a dangerous place to be. No, I mean, that's silly. I don't think one movie's going to do that to your country. That's just not going to happen. The tourist board of Slovakia, fun fact, actually invited Roth on an all-expenses-paid trip to their country so he could see it's not made of rundown factories, ghettos, and kids who kill for bubblegum. It's funny, man. I think this is a comical moment. I mean, they were offended by the film. They think that all Slovaks should feel offended by the film, blah, blah, blah. I mean, Roth said the film was not meant to be offensive, saying Americans do not even know that this country exists. His film is not a geographical work, but aims to show Americans ignorance of the world around them. Despite the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, people still travel to Texas. That was an interesting point he actually brought up in like an interview he had. So, yeah, it's funny, man. But leave a like, comment, subscribe. There's a lot of controversy. This is a pretty talked about movie. I would say it's a cult classic. It's up there with a lot of other movies. I don't think it's necessarily like a good movie or anything, but it's not bad. Definitely give it a watch. I feel like it is kind of like a necessity to watch a movie like this. It's got an interesting concept. The execution was okay, I guess. It is a little too gory maybe to have really a art about it, but yeah, I'm out, guys.